Whoever the new pope turns out to be, before he's presented to the church and the world, he will have a special moment of prayer in a small room called the Room of Tears. Joining us now is Father Sichko, who was recently in the Room of Tears. Father, thanks for joining us again. First of all, explain to us, what is the Room of Tears?
So the Room of Tears sits off to the left when you're looking at the altar of the Sistine Chapel. And in that room is where the Holy Father goes and once elected and changes out of his cardinal robes and into the white cassocks. They usually have 3 cassocks there, small, medium, and large, and transfers into, has his private moments right before his whole life is about to change and be introduced into the world for the very first time.
Wow, what was it like for you?
And so it was just, first of all, to be able to have the opportunity, because I've had the opportunity many times, thanks be to God, to privately tour the Sistine Chapel, but I've never been able to get into the Room of Tears. They've always said it's locked or off boundaries. And it just so happened I asked again, and they opened it up and went through it. And really, the nostalgia and everything about it was just unbelievable. It was much smaller than I thought it would be, but it was a very special place.
And I want to ask you, Father, Pope Francis appointed you and about 1,000 other priests or so around the world Missionaries of Mercy. Just give us a sense of that mission, that mandate, and does it continue even with the passing of Francis?
Yes. So, yes, it does continue. It continues throughout any pope, unless the Holy Father decides there is no longer need for that ministry. But that wouldn't make sense, because the whole ministry of mercy is surrounded by evangelization and by forgiveness of sins. And all of us can be agents of mercy in one way or another. But like you said, 9 years ago, Pope Francis, through the Year of Mercy, named 1,000 priests from all over the world. And then it was only to be a year assignment. And then in November of that year, as we were closing out the year, the Holy Father surprised everyone by elongating that mission of mercy and making it an indefinite appointment. And so very honored to do so. And then on top of that, I travel full time doing that ministry and evangelization ministry throughout the world. And so I'm on the road about 300 days a year. And so it's a really unique opportunity for I and my brother missionaries to spread the good news of Jesus Christ through mercy, through God's healing and forgiveness. No one escapes God's mercy and grace if they're willing to receive it and be open to it.
Absolutely. Pope Francis would often say, don't be afraid to return to the sacrament of confession. Are you seeing that? Have you seen that in your years in this ministry? Are people returning to the sacrament?
Oh, not only, yes, returning to the sacrament, and people are being habitual in coming to the sacrament. And so that is the joy to see, and of all ages. And, as Pope Francis said, todos, 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 everyone, get back to the sacrament. As I share with people all across the world, don't make excuses. If it has been a long time, just go in and say it's been a long time. If you don't know the prayers, just say I don't know the prayers. Everyone is welcome, and that is a start. And I encourage those who are listening today to get back to the sacrament and continue that beautiful sacrament of mercy and God's healing and grace.
Thank you so much for sharing, Father Jim Sichko. We appreciate you coming on.
Good to see you again.
Absolutely.